Because that has been a question lately from a lot of parents that I have been coming across. And so these parents are like, how do we connect to our child in a better manner? Because a lot of them have been facing issues in order to connect or maybe understand what the children are going through. So I had this. I'll start with an example. I have this case of a 3-year-old child who is not talking at the moment, and there have been like assessments which the doctors have just said that he falls into the autistic spectrum. However, when I met the child and read his reports and all, the clinical psychologist has yet not put him into the autistic spectrum. They have just left it open. It's just that the speech has not yet come properly. And from my observation, I saw that the child is exactly opposite to autistic behavior. So the parents were undergoing this fear of seeing a child who's not autistic, but seeing the child as autistic because everybody had started labeling him, including the school teachers. And for them, it was becoming difficult to reach out to the child because yet the child does not speak. So this kind of thing came up, and we started working with this child. This child is such a beautiful soul. Okay, such a beautiful child. I'm not saying from the looks of the child, but the way the child responds. And the child understands things. So I met him for the first time, and he started calling me auntie. He started addressing me, and it was huge because the child is not okay with new people in the house. So, but the child was like coming up and trying to talk to me and stuff. And then I was looking at the behaviors of the parents. Cutting the story short, this has been my observation with a lot of parents is that we treat young children as a young adult or a miniature adult who knows things, who can operate from the space of our emotions, like how we have a spectrum of emotions and we can talk about it. They believe that the child will also be able to do it. And so they start forcing things or putting things on the child. So it's like a top-down approach, so that you're forcing everything on the child down. And because children are so receptive and they want to learn everything from the environment, what they do is, with least resistance, they will start accepting it. They'll make it theirs. And in that process, what happens is the child is hampering himself because the parents are not realizing that their top-down approach is not helping the child. The approach needs to be is the face-to-face approach or the same level approach. Like, for example, if you want to talk to the child, you don't look down upon the child, rather you go on your knees and look into the eyes of the child and talk. And similarly, the child will talk to you in that manner. The more you communicate with the child is going to pick up things from you because, as we all know, children model. They are imitating you constantly, even in their sleeps. They're constantly being receptive all the time. So this is what needs to be done from a parent's side. Another very important thing that has not been told to any new parent or any parent otherwise, and people who have not been reading about parenting, is that before you become a parent, you need to see yourself in complete nakedness. You cannot have masks over it and then go out and train the child. Like, spiritually speaking, the child has come to teach you. The child has not come to learn entirely from you. The child knows what to do, how to do, when to do. So when this happens, and when you do not realize that you are to learn from the child as well, you kind of keep forcing the child, and then the plan that the child has come with, it starts getting distorted. And the growth that the child needs to face or see does not come through. So going back to the example that I started with, the parents wanted him to become an adult and be a successful adult. They still want him to be like that, but they would not communicate with the child. They would not touch the child. I was surprised that the child was enjoying the way I was giving him high fives and the way I was stroking his cheeks and all of that. He was enjoying it, but the parents would not hug him. The parents would not touch him because they would feel it's okay to not touch. You know, why does the child just keep clinging to us? This clingy behavior is not good. And hence, I want to draw the attention that if you as a couple require each other to be touched every day or maybe talked out every day, a child requires 1,000 times more to be touched and be felt and be hugged and be feeling the love that flows through your words. It should be more physical in nature because the child understands the language of love through physical touches. So here again, if you are seeing that you were not touched as a parent or as a child when you were being parented, you're going to replicate the same. So we come back again to the same point. How much are you seeing yourself and how much are you able to change the aspects of yourself before you start parenting your child? I clearly remember this example that my auntie, the neighbor that we have, would give my mother. She said that my husband always wanted our daughter to have all the vegetables, eat all the healthy vegetables. But she would not eat because the father would not eat. So uncle would not eat on the plate or on the dining table, would not eat. And through this observation, auntie told him that if you don't eat, she's not going to eat it because she questions if it is not served to my daddy, why am I supposed to eat? Since that day, uncle changed his behavior. Uncle started having everything which was cooked in the house, whether it is something bitter or sour or sweet, everything was served to everybody in the family. And since that day, that girl does not have any resistance in tasting anything. And that was something that even opened up my mind because I heard her saying this. And this is what we need to do. If we expect something from our children, say, for example, they listen to us. My child is not listening to me. The question here to ask yourself is, are you listening to them? Or are you really listening to what is happening inside you? Are you listening to your own self? When you start doing it, you will actually see miracles happening because the children just responds to the energy of what is being emitted to them. So if you are in that energetic space of listening to yourself and listening to your child at their level and not forcing yourself from above, the children will start listening to you and operating. Again, on the same principle that children imitate what they see. Thank you so much.